Just whenever you feel comfortable. Yeah.
Right, so we are live. Three, two, one, go. Hello, welcome to the MACKEM CABBIE, Davey, Richie, and Kev in tonight. Davey's son Kev is joining us tonight. First of all, how you doing, Kev lad? Are you all right?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm not nervous. I thought I was going to be nervous coming on here, but I'm not. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Bring a bit of positivity to the show tonight, Captain.
And Richie, how are you looking forward to on Saturday? You nervous yet?
I'm all right at the minute, mate. I will be probably Thursday and Friday. I'll probably start kicking in for me, like, but I'm still on the high from Tuesday, just reliving the moments at the minute, like. Um, but I give it a few days. I'll be squeaky bum time.
Fantastic. Oh, your camera's just froze. I'm just gonna sort that out a second. Discord's stupid when it does
You
this.
know, looks like I'm staying everybody out, doesn't it?
Oh, it's just annoying. It's just a flaw. I mean, I am eventually going to get Zoom. To be fair with you, because
Yeah.
it's like it's so temperamental. It's unreal. So just bear with us a second. Right, I was going to reset this. So I mean, we were talking beforehand, and Richie. Then I mean, you're confident, aren't you?
Aye. I've just got a good feeling in me gut, Cobby, that this is like I said to you last time, that this is our time now. I think we've got everything going for it. I think obviously after what's happened against Coventry, I think we're going to be on a massive high, and I think morale's going to be high amongst the lads. Um, but I still think we've got to be careful with Sheffield United. I think we've all said, haven't we, that I think out of all the teams in the playoffs, one of the best chances is against Sheffield United in the final. I wouldn't want to be playing Coventry in the final, definitely not. Um, but I've just got a feeling, Cobby, that I think it is our time, and I think, as you like to say, it, Lady Luck has struck me. I really believe that. And I tell you what, though, Cobby, I'm just really impressed that we never give up. We just kept on going and kept on going. And yes, it wasn't, the best of
Mm-hmm.
football, and it wasn't great for it to watch what was happening on the pitch, but we got the job done. And this is what we're about. We never give up as Sunderland, man. We always fight to the end. So that was great to see as well. Like, so yeah, I'm confident, mate.
Yeah, just keep talking, Richie. I'm just getting this set up here. Discord's got a mind of its own, so just bear with us a second.
It's just the only thing with Sheffield United is we're going to have to be careful because they are a good attacking team, right? And I think we, at times, can look a little bit sketchy at the back. We can be, we can't, we're not always at the best, you know what I mean? We might be under pressure. The lads might be feeling a little bit of anxiety as well on Saturday. Um, so yeah, we are going to have to be careful. And of course, they've got, like I said on my vlog earlier, they've got Harmer, which I thought he was always from Leeds, but he actually got signed from Coventry. And now when somebody mentioned it, it clicked back to what it was like. So, and they've got Diaz as well. Is it Brennan Diaz? We tried to sign him as well. He looks a little bit of a nuisance as well, like, and he's a bit of a physical sort of forward as well going forward. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. But I think just the way our defence has been, I think we've been pretty solid in these two games against Coventry, and we just need to keep that back four the same as what it is. Um, I know loads of people are shouting for Chris Metham to come in, but he obviously sees a good partnership between Dan Bollard and Luke O'Nien. And obviously that was the partnership before Metham come in. So I think he'll probably keep that the same as well. Like I just hope this week we didn't pick up any injuries or any little niggly little things, you know what I mean, going into Saturday. But if we all get through this week, I think we've got a hell of a chance, mate.
Good shout. You thinking the same, Kev?
I do. A bit like what Richie said there. I've just had a gut feeling. One, we would meet Sheffield United in the final, and I just think we've got the beating of them. I know Richie pointed out there kind of our defence, and there was a lot of talk after the Coventry game about, you know, how we got dominated in possession, or we got played off the park, or however. There's many sides to a game of football, and one of them is defending. So yeah, they had all the possession, but we were the best team at defending by far. You know, and we scored more goals than them. That's the other side of football. You know, you got to score your goals. You got to stop being scored against, and we did that. So I'm confident. I'm confident we can keep them out, and I'm confident we can play in a way which I think we'll play different to how we played against Coventry. It's a different team. I think we just set these teams up for individual games and individual teams. So I think it'll be. Yeah, I'm confident. I think we're going to win 10-0. I think that before every game. So, but I'm confident. I'm confident that we've got the players, we've got the tactics, and I think we'll execute what we need to do and get us up.
Right, I'm going to just obviously change the subject a little bit now. I mean, Davey's son, Kev, he's got an update about Davey, because we've got a few people in the chat asking how Davey is tonight. So, Kev, if you want to just fill everybody in, mate, it's up to you. It's all yours.
Yeah. Yeah. So, other than kind of I've been wanting to come on the show for a little while now. But there's also a bit of an update on my dad, which we've decided as a family we can now kind of tell people. Unfortunately, a few weeks back now, maybe it's 4 or 5 weeks, maybe it's a little bit longer. My dad kind of wasn't really acting the way he would usually act. We all know what my dad's like. You know, he's quite boisterous and kind of, you know, he knows what's going on and things like that. So my mum took him to hospital, and unfortunately, after some scans, they've found some tumours in his brain. So that's why he hasn't been on. You may have noticed he hasn't been on the Legends show or the Talk or anything like that, because we've had a lot going on. So yeah, so it's a case of there's a battle ahead, and we're going to do absolutely everything we can to stay positive, and hopefully we can get my dad through it, and you'll have him back, as you all know and love him. So he really needs everyone's support and love and prayers at the moment. So yeah, that's the update on my dad.
It's like you say, we've got to back you guys up in your family, Kev. And you know, like I said to you off air, mate. Yes, you know, we're not pals and things like that. You know what I mean? But we're always here, mate. And I'm always open to if you ever need a chat. You know what I mean? But Davey, if you are watching, mate, I am fully behind you, like everybody else is. I'm really devastated, to be honest, to hear what's happened to you, man. And obviously, I've known you for a little short time, but you've welcomed me on this show with open arms, buddy. You made me feel very welcome, and you always have done, man. I just wish you, honestly, I wish you the best recovery you can. And like I say, Davey, drop us an inbox anytime you want, mate. I've always got time for you, and I really do hope you come back stronger.
Yeah, very well put.
My dad is watching, by the way, so I did ring him just before I come on here, just to see if he had any advice for us, you know, coming on the show. And he is watching. He did tell us to say it to us all. He did tell you, he told us all sore about the football. Be positive. We knew what we were doing, and we'd get to the final and we'd get up there. So he told us to pass that on.
One of
was.
My favourite chats when Davey's on is it's dog walk time at the end of every show. It's like, right, time to walk the dogs. But just look, we can do. I'm gonna read some of the chats coming in. Ian Brown says, "Get well soon, Davey lad." D Hall says, "Oh no," he says, "Love to Davey and his family." David Walker says, "We all behind you, Davey." Gary Hoyle says, our thoughts and prayers are with your dad. We hope Davey is soon on the mend. Chris Minton says, I totally love Davey. He is so fantastic and fun to listen to. David Walker says, oh my God, no. He's a bit shocked with that one. And there'll be more messages coming in thick and fast. And there's other ones as well with football. So if Aki says, let's get behind the win on Saturday for Grandad. Pull the glove box down. It's in the glove box. Just me boy wants 5.
That's my daughter, Sophie.
Eh?
Sophie's my daughter.
Sophie?
Yeah, Sophie Aki is my daughter there.
Sophie Aki's your daughter. I hadn't a clue. So we've got somebody else now in the Davey household. Sophie Aki, welcome. Let's get the win for Saturday for Grandad. Right, okay. Stephen Clark says, stay strong and stay positive. Family and friends will get you through the tough times ahead. We will see you soon. David Joblin says, get well, Davey. Colin Major, your dad's a fighter, Kev. He says, I don't know whether you know I'm your mum's cousin, so she's got my phone number if she wants to talk. Gary Hoyle says, we have to win it for Davey. And Ollie says, get well, there's only one Davey. You see, there's so much love for him, you and your family there.
Thank you very much, everyone. It really means a lot to my dad and all of us. Yeah, we're going to do everything we possibly can. And I've no doubt we'll see him again on here at some point.
That'll be mint.
Absolutely. Jim N says, thinking of you, Davey, and hoping for a good recovery. Dougie Stewart says, oh, sorry to hear about Davey. I've got some football chat here. David Graham says, so the final at Wembley will kick off at 3 or 1 p.m. because of heart awareness, etc. That's the first I've known about that one.
Yeah, I read about that before. So all of the finals at Wembley, all the playoff finals in each league is going to kick off 1 minute later. And it's to do with sort of every minute counts is
Fair
kind
enough.
of what it's about.
And let's face it, I mean, there's been a hell of a lot of like CPR incidents, isn't there, with the crowd and that, and it's ever since this COVID vaccine, and they've mentioned this on the news. It's like you never used to hear or see this, did you, before? It's weird.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the COVID vaccine at all. So yeah, I could talk all day about that, but I'm not. But yeah, it has been an obvious thing of, matches being delayed and athletes and things like that. So I'm glad they're kind of making a point of it, so that when something does happen in the crowd, and there's no one closer than somebody in the crowd than the crowd. So the highlighting that every minute counts. So if it highlights things and fans go away when they do a little bit of research, and it comes to the point where it helps someone in the crowd, it's going to make a big difference.
Absolutely, not just for crowds as well. I mean, but the players. I mean, I always remember that stuck in my head. The Denmark when Christian Eriksen went down, and it was live. I mean, and the cameras were even panning in. You could actually see the doctors doing the resuscitation on him, doing the compressions on his chest and stuff. And it's an image that'll always stick in my head. It was like, because it was live on the telly. It was just such a real surreal experience. But it was such a relief, because it was literally just an hour or so, 2 hours or so. It was announced that the fact that he's sitting up and he was fine. Thank God for that. And then the next day the game went ahead or something, wasn't it? But yeah, it's definitely an important thing. Where we at with these chats?
Tom Lockyer, I think as well. That's how you pronounce his surname. Who played for Luton? I always remember that as well, because we were in a playoff or something, wasn't it? And he did the same on the pitch. But I'm sure he's one of the leaders for that as well. He's trying to drive that campaign as well. So good on him, like.
Got loads of messages, because this is what happens. Kev and Davey enjoys this part of it as well. He loves listening to all what the fans are wanting to say. and the messages just keep flooding in and flooding in. I mean, you may think I like the sound of my own voice and I'm rabbiting on. I'm just literally getting everybody involved as much as I can, and you know, people's opinions mean a lot to me in this channel, and you know, it's great to hear what everybody's input is. Brian Craig says, a very good evening to the three amigos. Is this Sunderland's most important ever? Is this most important game ever? Well, it's up there with a few, because I mean, we've had a few playoff finals at Wembley, aren't we? I mean, crikey, I mean, it's the last time we were in a playoff final for the big time, the Premier League, was Charlton, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
We've been involved in
Yeah.
playoffs before to go to the Premier League, but we haven't made it to Wembley.
That's right.
Aye.
I was up. We was up there. I was at that one. I was only. Well, I'll say the kid. I was going to say I was only little then, but I've never been little ever. But I remember again going there with my dad and my mum, and I think all the family went. We went on a bus. We went for the weekend. But that was hard. That was heartbreaking. That game. You'll never forget that game either, will we?
Oh no, it's it still hurts to this day. They often show it on the telly, and I cannot watch it properly because it's still, after all these years, it's still painful watching it. With Clive Mendonca, the MACKEM as well, that destroyed Sunderland that day. You know, and I think he still works at Nissan or the car plant, and he's always getting teased by the Sunderland fans for that. But mind you, I remember our goalkeeper was it the French one? What was his name? Was it Perez or something?
Yeah.
Oh, he was flapping like an octopus on crack, wasn't he? There was two corners.
Yeah, they had an amazing or an absolute awful game. There was no in between.
Oh, dear me. Just had a Geordie come in, says, I despise the Mackems. I hope Sheffield United beat you a lot, and I've just blocked him. Chris Minton says, nice comment, Michael team. He says, UPRICK. Best thing to do is just not rise to them. We do get a lot of Newcastle fans in the chat, and the spot on. Do you know what I mean? They are absolutely, you know, I like the banter and all that, but some of them can be nasty. It's like, I hate Sun and I hope they get stuffed sort of thing. Can't be bothered with that. I didn't mind being called seagull shaggers around like that. I just laugh at it. But some of them come on and just like, they're proper like nasty about it. It's like, I hate the Mackems and I hope you get absolutely stuffed and all that. Right, ta-ra, see you later.
But it's shown that they're bothered by what's happening at the minute, aren't they? Like that's the thing. They just because they've won this season and we win this season, they're gonna say, "Oh, you know, it's typical. They win and they're taking the glory away from it."
Well,
what a shame! What a shame!
If we win this trophy in the playoff final and we get the Premier League, then it's a hell of a lot more bigger than that Mickey Mouse Cup they won, wasn't it, at Wembley?
More money as well.
Oh,
aye, exactly.
Right, crikey. Well, there's a long way to go, as we all know. Christ, there's that many. I don't know if I can keep up with all these bloody messages. We've got 50 odd people in the chat already.
Newcastle, where they are in the league now, the way it all could transpire, the last game of the season could end up finishing 7.
It's mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Jill, Newcastle supporter. How are you doing, Jill? She's a good lass. John 73, good evening, lads. Best wishes to Davey. Lots of love. Another SAFC old fan. Be careful calling Davey old man. He'll have you. Where are we? No. Stephen Clark says the pitch is not much bigger than our home pitch. Just looks big because the way the stadium is laid out and the height of it. Aidan Thorburn says, have you recovered from your party on Saturday?
Yeah, I was with Aidan. I was with Aidan on Saturday in.
Oh, right, is that what he means?
Celebrations, yeah.
Oh, right.
They don't party as good as Sunderland supporters, though, I must say.
It was just it was so funny on Tuesday. I don't know if you've seen the video on Tuesday night, Kev. It was the fact, like, you know, I didn't like spoilers on this channel posting what the scores and whatnot, but he's me shouting and screaming 30 seconds before anybody knew what was going on, and poor Richie's just sitting there like in this daze, like as if to say what's going on, and he's me shouting like a hyena getting strangled. Honest to God, like I say, because the boys are watching Sky, they're watching the game on Sky in the TV in the sitting room, and that's like 30 seconds ahead. So I closed the curtain because I didn't want to see a reflection of the TV in Conservative. I didn't want to know nothing, because I didn't. And I was just convinced, because it was the last kick of the game, and I was 30 seconds behind. I thought, oh, they must be going to pick who's going to take the penalties now. So that's what I went and stood up and had a look for. I was expecting to see that, like a huddle in the centre circle, who were going to get to take the penalties. And then I just seen we had a corner and he was putting the ball on the spot. And I just thought, oh, this is definitely the last kick of the game. I says, I'll just stand and watch it, you know. And then I was like paralysed. I couldn't. My emotions for 2 seconds just froze. Everything around us froze. I couldn't believe what I'd just seen. And that ball seemed to take an age to get in, because he headed it. It came off the crossbar, bounced, and it's only when I seen the net bulge at the top, it was like such a surreal experience. And I wasn't even at the stadium. I mean, imagine being at the stadium, seeing that. It's like I was time warped into a split second. I was actually behind that goal, and I was screaming like a daft sod. Honest to God, if anybody says like it's, you know, you don't feel it when you're not at the ground, my hell you do.
It's a natural emotion, isn't it? I mean, you could be at the ground, you could be watching on the telly, you could be listening on the radio. When it happens, it's something you can't stop inside of yourself. You know, I was watching it with my dad, and you know, it's the game was kind of went through a few different phases a little bit. You know, like it went kind of the buzz of the start. You know, the show that the club put on, and the fans and everything like that before the game when it first started. The fans were great. And then there was a bit of a lull in the middle where, you know, everyone's nervous and it's panning to the crowd and everyone's like this and, you know, but I don't, like, again, when as we were going to take that corner, I said to me dad, I said, Dan Ballard, bullet header. And it wasn't a bullet header, but it was Dan Ballard. I didn't know it was Dan Ballard until after I'd finished screaming like what you did, CABBIE. But yeah, it was just a release of tension, wasn't it, as well?
Were you at the game? Were you at the game, Kev? Or were you at home?
No. Yeah, so I went down there and I wanted to watch it with Dad, obviously. So we watched.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Also, yeah. So that's what we did. We watched it at home and kicked every ball, and you know, it's not easy watching it at home if you used to been there or so. But nah, it was just the occasion. The occasion was unbelievable.
So did you feel similar to me when that ball hit the back of the net? Was it like sort of? Would you know what I mean when I says time froze for a split second, as if to say, "Oh my God!" It's like your adrenaline just took over in your body, and it's like you're ready for this huge release of emotion, because it was 115 minutes of sheer frustration. And let's face it, I weren't confident with penalties. Do you know what I mean? I did not want penalties. I couldn't cope. I kept saying to Richie on the stream, I says, I feel like going home. I feel like going to bed and knocking this off. I can't cope with this.
Penalties are stressor. As we've just been talking about the Charlton final, you know, so, but yeah, I mean, it is a kind of like a moment of stillness, and you're not sure if it's counted. Has it gone in? Has it counted? Is there a problem? You know, and then it's you kind of have two celebrations.
I know.
One is the instant, you can't help, but you know it's automatic. Then there's like a little bit of a freeze, and then you're like, we've done it. I actually thought the ref had blew the whistle and the game wasn't going to start again. That's what I thought had happened, because they celebrated for that long.
I had to look twice, because I mean, if you've seen my clip, I'm jumping backwards and forwards and stuff, and I had to look back again through the gap of the curtain, and then the penny sunk when I seen them all jumping on top of each other, and the stadium of light was gone absolutely crackers. You know, it was like, as I said, no matter what happens at Wembley on Saturday, that's a game you'll always look back on and enjoy watching it. I don't know. Yeah, I've never seen the stadium of light against the daft. You know, the Jermaine Defoe goal. The against Newcastle, Barini against Newcastle, Jermaine Defoe against Chelsea when we were 2-1 down and we won 3-2. That erupted But that was like a Chernobyl reactor gone off at the Stadium of Light on Tuesday night. My God. Perfect storm, wasn't it? A, it was Coventry. B, we were just knocking on the door for penalties. C, when we did score, we knew we'd won it. That was it. And D, we were going to Wembley. So it was a concoction of everything just amalgamated together for this huge eruption of noise when that goal went in. Because it meant so much. There would have been a cheer, but I don't think there would have been that much of a celebration if we scored in the 80th minute. Do you know what I mean? Because we knew that was signed, sealed and delivered. And I don't know if you noticed when they did the restart and Coventry kicked off, 3/4 of the Coventry City players were in the Sunderland end. And a lot of people are saying, how did the referee allow that? How did the ref allow that kickoff to go ahead? I don't know if you've noticed that, but have a look. All the Coventry players, most of the Coventry players are in the Sunderland half. Some say, well, the referee knew that was it. The minute they were going to kick off, it was full time anyway. But you've got to go by rules. You can't kick off if the team's in the other half, can you not? Strange.
Yeah.
And,
I did notice that when I watched the game back. I seen there was on this near side, there was 2 of them, and I seen them before the ref even asked to kick the ball, kick the game back off. There was 2 Coventry players already pretty much a quarter way in our half, and anyway, I did notice that. But the thing is, like you say, man, the ref knew he was going to blow that whistle. As soon as that ball went back to the keeper, he was going to launch it long. That was it. It was game over. There's no way we could have continued. Whether how long we celebrated or not, that game was over. But going back, we've all mentioned this again, right? And I touched it on my vlog as well, Cabbie. I mean, first of all, that was just the best I've ever seen the stadium alive. And just not just that, but just the whole build-up, the outside waiting for the bus to come, them red flares. I mean, the videos I watched, you couldn't even see the bus going past without the red smoke that was going up. And then obviously, coming in the stadium, we'll give them all a big welcome.
That T4 as well behind the goal,
games.
that was quality, wasn't it? That T4, that banner that was raised, was quality.
It was mint. Went out all stops. And it was just like I was saying, I've been to Derby games there. I've been to big Premier League games in the stadium of life. And there's been some cracking atmospheres that I've been part of. But I tell you what, that was the best I've ever seen it. And I'm honestly gutted I wasn't there just to experience it. But it was amazing. And it was just that whole thing that come out afterwards, you know what I mean? Where Mickey Gray, and I don't know if anybody else said it, but you know what I mean? We'll just touch on it. But he was saying that, like, when I was at the top, it's like, are you for real or what? It's like, look, when the goal happened, look what it meant to us as a club. We've been dying for this moment for years and years.
He's sniffing his
years.
nana's knickers like he really is. I mean, over-celebrating. If you cannot over-celebrate that, you're not a Sunderland fan as far as I'm concerned.
And I would love to see Mickey Gray in that stand, right, behind where Dan Ballard went and just went, no, you can't celebrate too much, guys, you know what I mean? Chill out. He would be jumping up and he would be doing the front and all sorts, man. Of course he would.
Richie, what did you actually think of? I mean, when you just heard me cheering, I mean, did the penny drop that would scored, or were you just what did you think? Do you think I stood on a Lego brick with me bare foot? What did you think happened?
I just heard you just jumping up and doing, and all I was hearing was like that. I was thinking, you bastard, you fucking right. And I was like that. I was watching the game, and but no, I was buzzing when you were jumping up and doing. I was just waiting for it. I was just wondering what it is, what the goal was. You know what I mean? I was wondering where this come from. You know what I mean? I was just get in, lads. You know what I mean? It was great. I just couldn't jump up and down like you could, because obviously I've got neighbours doing stairs for us, and I don't think they would have been happy about it.
Hell with the neighbours, Richie. I wouldn't have been able to stop me settling it. I would have been through the roof. Kev, have you seen the video I did with the ball boy? It's got like 11,000 views nearly. It's that the ball boy was actually part of the Sunderland move leading up to the goal. Have you seen it? It's class. It's like we're on the attack, and they put the ball out. And I think it's Roberts and the ball boy communicating with each other. And in a split second, it's like they do a 1-2. It's like bang. It's like when he grabs the ball and just passes at him. Super quick reactions from the young ball boy. Totally catches Coventry off guard. We gone down the right and then cross it in. And not only that, the ball boy runs back and stops the other ball, which was thrown back onto the pitch from going onto the pitch. So he actually stopped that from going onto the pitch as well. Because if that had happened, the ref would have stopped the game if the ball had gone too far on the pitch. But have a look back on it. He's very much part of the Sunderland move. That young ball boy, like it really, and as much as saying it, he did catch the Coventry players off guard because it was super quick. And he gave it, the little ball boy gave a fist pump as well when he threw the ball straight away. I think it was at the Roberts, and then he had a little fist pump when they were running down. It's like he was playing for the team. It was really, really good to see.
That's class.
It was it was mental. God, I don't know. I kind of keep up with all these messages. They're just absolutely.
Just to kind of go back to what Richie was saying there as well about fans. There was a lot of talk leading up to the game about, the players, the team being on a bad run, and are they able to just flip the switch and kind of turn it on in the playoffs? Well, the fans did that because, we've all kind of commented on how the fans at the stadium are quite subdued and, not like what we're used to experience, I guess. But the fans flicked the switch. They knew it was game time as well, and they definitely played a huge part in that win, 100%.
I mean, usually, when Sunderland win, you're on your high for the rest of your day. I'm still on that high now. It's like nearly a week. God, it's nearly a week tomorrow. That's gone mentally quick, hasn't it? Nice. Say hello to Follow Your Due. He's a QPR fan. He's often on the channel. He says, yeah, talk about the 12th man. Dougie Stewart says, I was that nervous I turned the game off. Did not know the result till early next morning. You didn't, Dougie. Oh, my God. How could you possibly sleep not knowing what that's got? I couldn't do that. Oh, I couldn't do that. Mac on a mission says, the ball boy should learn Roberts how to cross. Chris Minton says, amazing ball boy. Split second, as you say. Gary Hoyle on about Mickey Gray. He says, has he forgotten where he come from? How can you not celebrate something like that? Well, you certainly couldn't celebrate this penalty, could you? Against Charlton. Oh my God, that's got to be one of the worst penalties ever took at Wembley. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not just saying it to spit the dummy out. It was absolutely awful. John Nesbitt says, Tuesday is history if we don't win on Saturday. It was all for nothing. It would be history, but I still wouldn't get sick of watching that Ballard goal. It meant that's special to me, and I think all the fans. It's disappointing to lose at Wembley, of course it is, but I would never get sick of watching that game. It's weird, isn't it? Because when we drew 2-2 at the Stadium of Light, I cannot watch so much of the goals because they were world-class goals when we're 2-0 up. But I cannot watch it because we only drew. But it's different, this one, because we actually won the tie. Do you know what I mean? So it was a happy ending. Yes, if we do get knocked out at Wembley. In a way, it's got out to do with that game on Tuesday night because that did end on a happy ending. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I'll always enjoy watching that. Michael Atkinson says, it reminded me of the G goal versus Manchester City. That was another last gasp one, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, yeah. Played the offside as well, but...
Absolutely. Ian Brown says, nothing worse coming out of Wembley, the losing team, and we've all experienced it many times, especially that time when Charlton scored a last-minute winner with Jack Ross at the helm. That was... I always had a funny feeling about that Charlton final. Not the old one, but the recent one, because we were awful second half. We had that black strip on, didn't we? Luke O'Neill had his headband on. We just got out-muscled and out-bullied the whole of that second half. I just thought Sunderland were terrible. And you could just see it coming. Ollie says, Colin Major says, I'm sure Cabbie was orgasmic on Tuesday. It was like watching that movie. I'll have what he's having. Something to do with Meg Ryan, I think it is, isn't it? Ollie says, I was at the Stadium of Light and everyone just froze. I was glued to my seat. And Cabbie, why do you not do shows on Friday anymore? Just because I've been too busy, and I just think our Monday show is a nice little compact show. And if you do too many shows twice a week, I think possibly you get diluted what you want to talk about. Obviously, it's different if we're in the Premier League. We've got more to talk about. But there will be the odd one on a Friday, of course. But depends what's happening at the club.
What do you do over the pre-season, Prem? What's your plan for that?
You what, Kev, mate?
What's your plan for, like, in the pre-season, with there being no games on? What's your plan with the weekly podcasts then?
Well, I mean, I'm still going to do the weekly podcast on a Monday. I mean, because there's always going to be stuff happening. I mean, let's not forget the transfer window opens. And you're never, ever short of stories and rumours when the transfer window's open. So there's always stuff to talk about on that one. We'll be talking about, obviously, players going out, because it will happen. Rumours about players coming in. And I think we're going to do, like, have a bit of a fun quiz every Monday as well. Get everybody involved in that. So do some sort of a quiz where you can't cheat by Googling it. Do you know what I mean? So... Well, I'm going to.
I've got something lined up that way, like CABBIE. I've got a few things lined up for that, like so. But we'll do like a season review as well, can't we? We'll do all sorts of different things as well.
And I'm still going to
everybody's opinion as well.
I'm still sticking to my promise. If we win at Wembley on Saturday, I'll be doing my Monday show in a mankini.
Wembley win at Wembley.
You see, Kev is the spitting image of his father, 100% optimistic. Because how many times did you hear your Davey say, "CABBIE, shut up, stop being negative, man. We're going to win, we're going to Wembley, we're going to Wembley." And I kept saying, no. He was convinced, when he Rich. Davey was convinced. We are going to Wembley. And this is before the playoffs started, Kev. This is, I think, when we were losing 3 or 4 on the bounce. He wasn't bothered. He knew we were going to Wembley.
My dad said it all season. If you remember, after about 8 games in, he was on the radio phone in. And the BBC Sport actually cut what my dad had said and played over one of their videos on social media. And it was my dad saying, "If you kind of get excited now, when are you ever going to get excited?" And that's because we were top of the league after 8 games. And I remember that. So he's knew all season that something was going to happen this season, So, aye.
It's magic, absolutely magic. Paul Stratton says hello. He's a Coventry fan. He's often in the channel. I'm often popping over to theirs. He says, "Hi, CABBIE crew." He says, "Best wishes to Sunderland on Saturday." He says, "No sour grape." He says, "Go and do it on Saturday. It is your time." You see, I mean, like I say, you get a lot of good wishes from Coventry fans and all kinds. There is just some genuine, nice supporters, because it mustn't have been pleasant for Coventry fans. We've been there ourselves. I mean, that must have been a killer for them. But we've been there, like I say, ourselves, like at Wembley, losing the last kick of the game. It's absolutely heartbreaking. But I'm sure Coventry will be there and thereabouts, even stronger next season, whether Frank Lampard's going to be there with them or not. But there's something about Coventry where they're a smoke and gun. It's like they're waiting, you know what I mean? They're there and they're just waiting. And I think their time will come sooner or later to be right up there. Dougie Stewart says Clive Walker was a bad penalty in the Milk Cup final. John Nesbitt says, "If you watched the FA Cup final yesterday, I think we will play the same as Palace." And a few people have said that. I hope we don't sort of play the same way we did against Coventry. But other people will say, well, if we did play the same as we did with Coventry, we'll win the final. It wasn't pretty. It was frustrating to watch. But, when you look back on the Tuesday night, Coventry, they did miss a couple of sitters, but apart from that, can you think of Patterson making any vital saves? I cannot. It was all possession by Coventry, but a couple of chances apart from that, they didn't really do anything threatening, did they?
Nah. They were launching a lot of crosses into the box. I think that's their type of game, though, you know what I mean? They've got the forwards and that player. I can't remember his name. Is it a Korean player or Japanese player that they've got? I forgot his name.
Is it Matonda or something?
Japanese player. I'm sure he's Japanese.
Everything come down our left, really. That's where I think it's different with Coventry and Sheffield United. Coventry are stronger down the wings, and getting crosses in and, you know, getting people, big lads on the end of it. And we dealt on time. Ballard, obviously, was immense in defence yet again. And teams who don't have a Dan Ballard in the team, they would have got hammered up Coventry playing the way they did.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas Sheffield United, I think, is a little bit different, where I think they're a little bit stronger through the middle and midfield. So I do think we will play differently. I don't think we'll just sit back and defend and kind of try and hit on the break. I do think we'll be a bit more attacking. I think the team will be slightly different, so that we're a bit more compact in the middle. But I don't think we'll sit as deep either. Yeah.
I think it's going to be it's going to be a different kettle of fish altogether. Just going to catch up on some more chat and stuff. Glenn from the Sky Blue Hub says, where are we? He says Premier League will be better with Sunderland in it. He says it's brave to allow a team who scored so many headers and crosses. Sakamoto, you mean? Yeah, quality player. He says, but it paid off as you defended so well. He says, please, whatever you do, he says, go and beat Sheffield United. Gary Leonard says, see all right to beat Kev. He says, Geezer on his way back from Benidorm. He says, hope Big Davey is okay. How are the lads?
That's me good, mate.
That's your good mate. Folly Ado says, last game Sunderland kept defensive tight. Maybe with the week rest they will be on it again. And don't forget, I think we'll be starting with Mundle, and I believe Alessia could be back as well. We're a different side when Mundle's on. I mean, I'm sick of going on about it, but the beginning of the season, Mundle was on. We were blowing teams away. Mundle got injured. We drew our 6 or 7 games on the bounce. Do you know what I mean? And every time he's in the squad, we're just a different side altogether. Preston, when he came on, did he come on as a sub and he scored that world-beating goal from like 25 yards, curling into the top corner? The tables turned in the second period of extra time when Mundle came on. We were a different side, with a different formation. Something about Mundle which he causes havoc with defenders. So I really do hope he starts with Mundle.
I think it just brings an energy to the team, doesn't he? You know, he's very direct. You know, when he's on the ball and he's running, he looks energetic. You know, so that'll bleed through the team. I do think Mundle will start. I do think we have to start well. I think that would be important. You know, like any final, the first goal I think would be important. I think Mayenda might be the person who might be dropped to the bench. Although I think, you know, Mayenda's in my opinion, he's been a bigger threat than Isidore over the last few months, even, you know.
Without a doubt.
But I just think as a substitute coming on, Mayenda gives more of an impact than what Isidore would coming on. And I think Lafille move into the middle and Mundle will play and it'll be Mayenda who'll drop out. But other than that, I think the team will be the same as what it was. They'll just set out in a different mindset and a different way of playing, I think, is what will happen.
Glenn also says from the Sky Blue Hub, he says, Sheffield United are a moment's team. This is relying on individual brilliance from Harmer, etc. Mundle, Mayenda and Isidore will run Sheffield United ragged on a big Wembley pitch. Only if Isidore stops diving. I hate it when he does it. He did it in the first 5 or 6 minutes against Coventry, didn't he? Where he's like, you know, man, just stay on your feet. It's not worth getting a yellow card, It's like, and he's got an awful habit of doing it. Isidore, and it's like, make it look, at least make it look close that you've had contact. Do you know what I mean? But there's like a mile daylight between him and the player, and he guns down like a sack of crap. It just doesn't look good at all. Stephen Clark says, here's a question. He says, if we do go up, where do you think our Prem team is going to come from? He says, he reckons, do you think we are ready? I mean, that's a good point. If we do gan up, they've got some work to do, haven't they?
Like I said to you before we come on stream, and anybody in the chat as well, but I noticed today there was a little link on Facebook from BBC Sport, and it had this massive list of players who were free agents this summer, contracts are not attached. There's a few on there that I would take, and one particular I was looking at is Decore from Everton. I mean, if we can get players like him who are experienced in the Premier League, and we know that they've got quality and things like that, just for an example, and we can afford to pay the wages, get these guys in. It doesn't matter if they're in the 30s or whatever it is. They've got the experience and they can help our young squad. And I think they're going to have to mix it up. But there is a few players in our team, the likes of Trey Hume, Dan Bollard, Sirkin, Job, Mundell, I think can all do a job in the Premier League. I'm not sure about the rest. But we still have a few young players who I think will step up to the mark. But there's loads of players we can get. It's just getting getting Speakman to do the right deals. You know what I mean? But they want to be signing these players on massive wages. You know what I mean? We want to get a fair deal for them. And I think we need to bring in experience if we go up. If we don't bring experience in, then I think we're going to seriously have problems next season.
I totally agree.
A little bit jumping ahead, but
I agree. We do need to bring some experience in. It's all going to depend on who steers. Like Richie just said there, we do have the players in the team, the young lads who will cope in the Premier League. But whether or not that's the 11 that we have now, I don't think that's the case. We will need to bring some experience in, but a bit like looking at like a release list or things like that. What I'm also conscious of is what we've done in the past where we've brought players in and we've paid them silly money just because they're ex-Premier League players. I think everyone at the club at the minute, all the players, that have something to prove. I think Speakman's brought people in who have something to prove and somewhere they still want to go to, with it as in a career. So you've got to also be careful about bringing 30-plus-year-olds in where their mindset is. You know, are they coming to a club now to kind of see out their career where they're not going to really want to push on because they've got really nothing to play for? You still need that hunger in that, you know, coming to Sunderland is going to get them back in international setup, or there needs to be a goal there from them, or else they can also become a bad apple and infect the rest of the squad as well. But we do need some experienced heads in there to help the young'uns. And unfortunately, I think whether we go, you know, we go into the Premier League, I still think we're going to lose one or two of them players. Joe being one of them, sadly. I do think that he might be away, you know, and I think Rig might be another one. Although Rig's probably the one that might stay. People like Ballard, I hope we don't lose people like Ballard. And actually, I hope 09 doesn't get released or anything like that. I think he's important to the squad. He may not be able to do the job he's done this season in the Premier League, but he can do a job within the squad that's going to, especially anyone who's coming into the club and who's never been to the club before, he is Mr. Sunderland. He will make them players believe and know what it means to play for that team. So having him around the squad, I think, is important.
Especially for morale, yeah. Yeah, totally right, Kev. I mean, morale. Yeah, bang on. John 73 says, watching Man City in the cup final last Saturday gives me more confidence that we are capable of lasting more than one season. When we are promoted on Saturday, they weren't very good. I mean, it's a good point. That, I mean, look, I mean, for any of the, as I said, for any of the top three that go up, or whoever it may be, we all know it's Leeds and Burnley and whoever, either Sheffield or Sunderland. Which Premier League team would go down? If any of these teams coming up would stay up? I mean, like, see, look at the bottom three. The only team above them is Man United and Spurs and Man United. They're about nearly 30 points ahead of the bottom three. So that the gulf between the bottom three and just the rest of the league is huge. It's massive. So, you know, they've got to be a monumental task to bridge that gap from the bottom three, to just claw yourself to get amongst the bottom half of that league. I mean, they're so lucky, Man United and Spurs, that the bottom three were just so goddamn awful and off the pace because they would have been dragged into it. Mark my word, they've had a. I can't believe when I look at that Premier League team and Premier League league, and I see Spurs and Man United where they are. It's comical, you know. But look at the points gap. It's massive.
It's a shock. It's a shock seeing them two teams there. As much as it'll be a shock seeing Sunderland in the top 6.
It can happen. It's happened before. Paul Stratton, Coventry fan, says, if we had a Ballard, we would have beat you. He says, good luck on Saturday, go for it. When Ballard's on form, Paul, he's just... I don't know, when he's got his game face on and he's got this switch on the back of his head turned on to focus, there's just nothing gets past him. And let's not forget this. He's not just an absolute quality, world-class defender. He's bloody good with his head in the box and all. And he scored a few headers for international duty as well. David Graham says Brighton 1, Liverpool 2, half-time. Slobozai scoring a freak goal, apparently. D. Hall says, I bet you we've been practising pens all week, but hopefully we'll win it during play. Stephen Clark says, there's also the other side if we don't. He says, Rig is touted for Man United. Watson is off to Brighton, as we know. Job, Europe, which looks like he could follow in his brother's footsteps. Pato, not to mention our defence. He says, we have to get up to retain our players. I mean, it might change if we did get promoted. What players might want to stay then, I don't know. The young players in the under-18s and under-23s are fantastic, says Chris Minton. Ian Brown says, good shout there, Richie, with the Dusha. Brings strength and experience. We have a tremendous structure of players. Gary Hoyle says, it's going to be a completely different game at Wembley. He says it'll be down to whoever settles down first and adapts to the big day. Tactic goes out the window in some respect. And I say that's why I think it's advantage Sunderland, because they're the underdogs. They've got out to lose. I say if they can just enjoy that day, you know, the pressures on Sheffield. There's no worse than expecting to win, and that's why England never win tournament football. I don't think, because the media and everybody's got us winning the trophy in the tournament before even a ball's kicked. And Sheffield United, I think they've had 9 attempts in the playoffs and they've failed with every one. So we thought we were bad in the playoffs. Sheffield United aren't much better.
Sheffield United definitely will feel the pressure more than us. You know, in January, they went out and bought pretty much every player we were interested in. We didn't go and splash the cash like what they did. They went out and they went for the top 2. You know, they bought Cannon and Diaz. You know, they splashed the cash thinking we need to do this to get up. So the pressure on them will be far greater than us. And I do actually think having the young team that we have will benefit us in this final, because we need a fearless performance. And I think that's what comes with youth. Yeah, you get the odd error and you get some, individual kind of mistakes and things like that. But when you're at Wembley and you're in a do or die game, you need to be fearless and you need to be able to attack and get the win that you need to get and stop it going to penalties. You know, nobody wants that game to go to penalties. Us, them, none of the players want that to go to penalties. They want to win it. So I think having the young team will benefit us, and the pressure is 100% on them as a club, not just their players. Their players that come in will be on a lot of wages. You know, they'll be away. Some of them will have to leave, or they'll be on wage reductions, I would think, if they don't go up. So I think, look, we're going to do it. We're going to win 10 out. Easily. We're in the right end of Wembley as well. CABBIE.
You can tell he's Davey's son, can't you? You can just tell there, like, honest to God. You know me, glass half empty. I'm saying nout. Ian Brown says VAR ends up balancing out when it comes to decisions throughout the season, so it's 50-50. I think it's a bit unfair that the fact that, you know, VAR is not allowed in the EFL, and yet it's getting used at Wembley. I don't think it should be used at Wembley. It's either all or nothing. If it's not available in the domestic season, I don't think it should be available at Wembley. I mean, disagree with us or not, I just don't think it should be allowed. We've gone all season without it. Why have it for the final? Because it could potentially ruin a good game of football. I didn't. If I had a choice, I would say no. I didn't want VAR on Saturday. I'm not really a massive fan of it. I mean, yes, it's nice when it just kills the atmosphere. If we did score, for a fact, you have to look over your shoulder 2 or 3 times. You're just waiting for, and it's a VAR decision. You're just waiting for it. It spoils the game, man.
Yeah.
I understand the need, well, not the need for it, but I understand why it was brought in. And ultimately, it was to do with money, really, wasn't it? Fine decisions was costing teams millions of pounds because it was the difference between a Champions League place or not. However, for me, human error is part of the game. Whether you're a defender, a goalkeeper, a manager doing the wrong tactics, and the referee and the linesman come into the game, and they have to be open to human error as well. It's part of the game, which they've took away. Well, maybe it's not, because they got a VAR decision wrong on in the final, didn't they, with the Henderson handball. So even the VAR person doesn't always get it right. So why have it?
Yeah, it's they should just make it for massively important decisions. That's all. Instead of nitpicking, using VAR for every goddamn thing. Was it his shirt pulling? Did his fingernail touch him, or did he? It's just ridiculous, man. It's nice when it's
all about sort of each manager or each team having, say, 3 challenges per game or 2 per half, where something might happen in the game and they can use one of their VAR checks to have it done. And if they're limited to how many they can have, one, it's going to kind of, not take the pressure off the referee as much, but let the game flow a little bit. Let the team will second guess whether they want to challenge something or not. And that will be done through the 4th official. None of the officials on the field. You've got 10 seconds to challenge it. If it goes after that, then the game continues regardless. But limiting challenges, maybes, but I'm not a massive fan of it. I never have been. And just based on the referees there to referee, and human error is a big part of the game. Leaving the ground, talking about refs' decisions and things like that, and that was all part of the conversation after a game,
Aye.
It's part of football.
Absolutely. Michael Taylor says, afternoon from Brasilia. He says, lads, hoping Meffin gets a chance to come on, preferably when we're 2-0 up. David Graham says, only 13 months to go before the start of the 2026 World Cup, when it kicks off at Mexico City, and the final will be in New Jersey. It'll be before you know. Dougie Stewart says, Kev is a spitting dab of Davey. Luke Moore says, does anyone know what the best pubs are near Sunderland railway station to watch the match in? I've not lived there for a long time. You're not going to be spoiled for choice, I don't think. I would just share a few cans with your neighbours. You've got plenty of room. Gary Hoyle says, yes, they splashed the cash, but those players, Diaz, Moore and Cannon, are yet to shine and are no better than what we have at our ranks. They are average players at best. Yes, Gary Lineker's last match of the day show this Sunday. Good riddance to Lineker, says David. Do you know what, me personally, I think he's been good. I think when the World Cup's on, I always choose to watch the BBC. I don't know what it is about the commentators. I didn't mind Gary Lineker as a pundit, a presenter. When the final's on, I'll always choose to watch BBC. Me personally, I just think it's stupid, this anti-Semitic stuff and crap. It's like, who gives a toss what he says? It's like, I'm there to watch him presenting the show, and it's just ridiculously getting out of hand. Right, it's nearly come to the end of the show, if it has already. Let's do predictions. We're running a little bit late. Richie, we're going with you. What you saying, score-wise? And then anybody on the chat as well. Let's have your predictions. What you reckon? You're going 2-1, Richie.
I'm going 2-1. I think we'll take the lead. I think we'll hit back, and then I think, like I said before, I think we'll get a late goal. Depending on who's starting, I would like to see. Let's go for another damn Bollard one, and we'll go for Mayenda. I think, or even Mundle. Any of them will be me. But 2-1 to us.
Kev?
2-0 for me, 2-0. And I think we'll win both halves. So I think we'll score midway through the first half and near the end of the second half. Goal scorers: Mundell and Leffier.
Leffier, that would be nice for Leffier. I'm going for 2-0. I'm going for a goal either half. No, Sunderland, how are you, man?
Oh, God, thank God for that.
Cabby normally goes 0-0, man. That's what he normally stands for.
I'm going for a. Look, I'm fully aware. You know, they're a decent side, Sheffield United, but so are we on our day. Don't let's not forget that. You know, we weren't top of the league for a long time in this league for a reason. It wasn't just fluke. So I'm going for 2-0, goal either half. I'm going to go for Mayenda to get one. I don't think Ballard will get one because I think he's still exhausted from Tuesday night. So I'm going to go for... I don't know if Isadore's going to play or not. That's the trouble. I fancy Isidore and Mayenda, but it'll be different. If Mundell's on, I'm going to go for Mundell and Mayenda because if Mundell's coming on, then you'd have to obviously either drop Lefay or drop what you call it, Mayenda or Isidore. So yeah, I'm going to go for Mundell and I'm going to go for Mayenda for the two goals. And I'm going to go Sunderland will score the second goal 12 minutes into stoppage time in the second half. On the 12th minute.
One of them,
Ian Brown says 2-1 Moore to score and Mayenda brace. 3-1 to Sunderland, making a statement. Big Sid said, "Is that you, Kevin? You big oaf." You got a few mates coming in here.
He's in Dubai in hospital, bless him. Got sunburn.
He got sunburn.
Oh,
Oh, dear. Just get the nurses to give you a slap wherever it is, man. It'll sort you out.
Oh, I've seen the nurses on camera.
Oh, Ollie says, bye, guys. Have a good week. Yeah, you too. He says, get well soon, Davey. And love this show tonight. He says, bye, Cabbie Richie. And Kev, have a good night. And his predictions 1-0. Michael Taylor says 2-0 Lefay. Luke Moore says, Beehive, I'll have a look, mate. Thanks. This is regarding to pubs. David Graham says, imagine if we had 4-4 again like in 1998. No, thank you. I do not want that. Gary Hall says 2-0 Mayenda and Enzo. John Nesbitt says 8-0. I think he's on smoking the pipes, I think. 8-4 Cabbie. Freaking hell. I don't even think you could play that on FIFA.
Oh.
Andrew Moore says Mundell, Serkin and a late worldie from Chris Rigg. Paul Stratton says hope not, but we will see you all next season. Yeah, and I think he means by that hopefully hope not in the same league. Look, if it is, Paul, good luck to you a lot as well next season. Big club. Yeah. It's going to be an exciting one as always. John 73 says big pitch will help us. Ian Brown says, great show. See you next Monday. Will we be a Premier League team? Hard to say. It hasn't sunk in that, has it? If it works out.
Yeah, I will.
Dougie Stewart says, can we have Kev back on again? Well, that's up to Kev if he wants to come back on again.
Yeah, I'll come back on. I'll definitely be coming back on. So I'm even going to change my days that I have off so I can come on and see you all, Cabbie.
I think he's going to carry the legacy on, aren't you? Kevin, who knows? I might see Davey as well joining you at some point.
Will.
Kev, you big oaf. He says, neat club, La in Dubai. He says, can't hear. He's in a nightclub, he can't hear the show.
Dad's my mate from school.
Is he?
And Big Wolf, Dad used to call us when I was a bairn. So if I knocked the TV over, something like, I can Kev you, Big Wolf. So that's where that comes from.
Andrew Moore says, got to keep Davy's seat warm, Kev. David Graham says, Leighton Orient and Walsall to win the playoff finals this bank holiday weekend. Folly says, see you Saturday. Keep the faith. He's the QPR fan that's always on here. Pixel Rich is regular. Says, enjoy the crack and the show tonight. We'll see you Saturday. Thanks for the show, shares Chris Minton. Colin Rowland says Dan Neil and Mundle 2-0. John says the pitch is the same size as SAFC. Great show. Says Chris Folly says see you, Cabby, keep the faith. There's that many messages. Sorry if I have missed people out tonight. Honestly, the messages are just flying in. What time on Saturday, Cabby? Maybe about 2:30. I'll be starting the stream. Richie's going to be joining us. Kev, where are you going to be watching the game?
On Saturday, Cabby.
I'm hoping.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
To possibly try and get my dad down. So the plan or the hope is that my dad will be well enough for us to drive him down and go to the match and back in the car and straight back home, because I've always went to finals with my dad. And when that goal went in on Tuesday night, it was like, although we had the goal and the Sunderland side of it, for me it was like a massive relief, and because I just so wanted to just see Sunderland at Wembley again with my dad, So the plan is to try and get my dad there, no matter what.
How did your dad respond again to that goal on Tuesday?
He was out of the moon. He just couldn't jump up like he would usually. But he still made enough noise.
Was he doing donuts?
That Sunderland had scored.
Was he doing donuts in between the ducks outside his front door on his scooter?
I enjoyed it. That's for sure.
Oh, that's magic. Yeah, apparently you're going to try and maybe get an executive box at Wembley or something, because for safer for your dad, he doesn't want to be in the middle of a load of drunk aides and stuff and possibly getting trampled on if they score out like that. So they're looking at that.
So that's the hope, because we've got to be careful, sort of with the like in the crowds and kind of knocked and things like that. So my plan is to get a special day organised for him, and yeah, just get him there. Just let's get him there.
Aye, absolutely. John Nesbitt says, all the best, lads. Enjoy the match wherever you are. Dougie Stewart says, play off knockout before the game on Saturday, like the good old days of the FA Cup. But yeah, well, that's the end of the show. I've enjoyed it. Cheers, Kev, for coming on tonight. I'm sure we'll see you more.
Thank you, lads. Thank you, everyone who's listening and chatting. Hit the like button, hit the like and subscribe button.
And cheers, Richie, as well. He's done a lot for the channel as well. He's helped out. I'm off to get my liver and onion pizza now. I'll have to warm it up in the microwave. So, good night to everyone. Sorry I've not replied to everybody. There's just been hundreds and hundreds of messages. I just can't go through them all. But enjoy the rest of your night, guys, and we'll see you